Popular Disney movies during the 1960s included 101 Dalmatians, Mary Poppins, and The Jungle Book. Mickey Mouse and Tweety are other characters you will find in his films. His movies are known all over the world and are fun to watch. Almost all children's films are sponsored by Disney. Throughout the 1960s, Disney continued to work with his staff of Imagineers. The theme parks allowed Disney a whole new outlet for creativity and building technology like audio animatronics, which brought his mechanical characters to life. Disney began buying land and designing a second park in Central Florida that would become Walt Disney World in 1971.
Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Winston gives you real flavorful, rich tobacco flavor. Winston's easy drawing too. The filter lets the flavor through. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
Ernst Winder and others in the 1940s and 50s linked cigarette smoking and lung cancer. In 1964, the Advisory Committee to the U.S. Surgeon General were the first to share with the public that cigarette smoking is a cause of lung cancer, birth defects, and many other cancers. This is a very important event in American history because nearly everyone smoked cigarettes and was a multi-billion-dollar business. During 1964 through 1992, approximately 1.6 million deaths caused by smoking were prevented because of Ernst Winder and the Advisory Committee's discoveries. The reason I put this as number 8 is because not only was he the leader of the terrorist group that caused 9/11, but he was just one of the many other terrorists with the same intentions. The goal of capturing and killing Osama bin Laden allowed many Americans some degree of closure and give us a chance to move slightly past the incredible fraught, incredible strange, and heated decade that we have just gone through. Although he is dead, his ideas will pass down from generation to generation as the development of terrorism continues to live on.
The world will note that the first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, a military base. We won the race of discovery against the Germans. We have used it in order to shorten the agony of war, in order to save the lives of thousands and thousands of young Americans. We shall continue to use it until we completely destroy Japan's power to make war.
Steve Jobs was the CEO of Apple Incorporated. Society has become dependent on electronics and technology as a way of communication, security, research, etc. Steve Jobs will forever be known as one of the greatest masterminds to ever walk this earth. It is hard imagining life without the iPhone, iPad, iPod, and other genius electronics. He is one of the first who comes to mind as one of the most important historical figures. His values, his way of thinking about design and solving problems, his relentless perfectionism, his obsession with design and simplicity are all values and characteristics that are still deeply embedded in the company we know and love.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, I have a dream.
Martin Luther King Jr. was a civil rights activist. He also helped start the Montgomery bus boycott. He was a preacher as well as a father. His influence on African Americans helped change and improve their rights to the U.S. Although there is still racism in parts of the U.S., mainly in the South, without him, racism would be a huge problem today. The reason I chose this as number 3 was because it was the first success in production of the most dangerous weapons ever made, the atomic bomb. In 1940, the U.S. government began developing their own nuclear weapons when scientists became concerned with the nuclear weapons conducted in Nazi Germany. The day before the bombing of Pearl Harbor, Franklin D. Roosevelt authorized the Manhattan Engineering District, also known as the Manhattan Project, which was to formulate the energy of the atom in a chain reaction to create a bomb that could be carried by aircraft. The project was also instructed to be produced before the Germans. After many years of construction and manufacture, on July 16, 1945, the Office of Scientific Research and Development and the War Department took off to the Trinity Set site in Alamogordo, New Mexico. This was where they tested their new creation, which was successful. The two components of the bomb were uranium-235 and plutonium-239, relating to Otto Hahn and his fission discovery. The bomb itself was over 20,000 tons of TNT, and the nuclei fuel uranium-235 was extremely rare. The alternative fuel was plutonium, which is an element discovered in 1941 in microscopic spec form. Bill Gates is the CEO of Microsoft and was the first to make the computer. He later paired up with Steve Jobs, who eventually went down his own path, creating Mac computers. Bill Gates is worth $72 billion and is the number 1 richest man in the world. "19 members of the Al-Qaeda group planned to attack and hijack 4 fuel-loaded commercial airlines bound for West Coast destinations. 2 American Airlines flights struck the north and west towers of the World Trade Center in New York City. Another plane strikes the Pentagon building in Washington, which collapsed in approximately 10 seconds. Another one of the planes crashed in a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. These attacks greatly impacted the U.S. security and everyday life in America. The attack killed over 3,000 people and many firefighters and policemen. No one can get onto a plane without spending at least 10 minutes of security checks, taking your shoes off, pouring out their drinks and other liquids, etc. Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, was killed in Pakistan on May 2, 2011, by U.S. Navy SEALs.